Well, this is it. The final trailer. The final reaction. The final reaction video. It's all very exciting. We're about to move into phase 2. Which is, of course, Tekken 8 coming out today. Yeah, Devil Jin. Not much really to say. We've already seen a lot of him. Let's just do it. The last reaction ever. The last time I'll ever react to anything, surely. No, this game is going to flunk and the DLC characters are never gonna come out. I'm also recording this one for you on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. I'm not streaming it. This is, I think, only the second one that I've done like that. Black Wings of Ruin. It's just... You know that someone at Hot Topic wants that printed on a shirt. A guard crushes in the 1-1-2. That seems like it'd be probably strong. Yeah, that's the new stance that we've seen. I don't remember what it's called. It just looks like boot. It's just a ripoff of Elise's boot stance, and I don't appreciate it. That's cool. The Heaven's Gate. It looks like they've really redone a lot of the camera work and stuff with these throws with Devil Jin. I like it a lot. Yeah, that seems about right. Honestly, it's kind of like when you think about Sophia and Yoshi's story in SoulCalibur 6 in a lot of ways. That's an anime ass drab. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. Okay, Heat Dash. That's a new extension off of 1+4. You can tell the voice actor had a lot of fun with this. Kind of reminds me of Majima when you think about it, just in that regard. Yeah, I was... For not caring at all about this character, you know, they did a pretty good job. The voice acting carries it quite a bit, I'd say. Like I said, it sounds like he had fun doing it, and it adds an element to the character that I didn't know Devil Jin needed, but now hearing Devil Jin have this voice, he's always desperately needed. And it works really well. It really helps with the character. Even though he's an edgelord, going more all in on it. Oh, there's a thing at the end here. Here, I'll watch this. I didn't miss anything. Shut up in the comments. Oh, it's the stupid fucking figure. It's the figure. Damn, I saw this and I thought, oh, it's like a thing at the end because the game's... No. Anyway, I mean, like I've been saying from the beginning, yeah, I couldn't care less about this character, but at least they made him look cool in the trailer. I will say, though, well, you know, something actually interesting about this is the stage. The stage that they chose for Devil Jin is interesting, because I had a theory when I did the Raven trailer that this stage, this is Astral Chaos, and this in the background is an Astral Fissure. And this kind of goes back to SoulCalibur lore, but one interesting thing that we've seen from that in chapter 1 of the story, obviously I haven't, well, maybe not obviously, but I haven't spoiled myself on the story, I've only seen the first chapter, but one scene in the chapter 1 of the story, actually I'll pull it up. So this scene in chapter 1 of Tekken 8 story is actually referenced in SoulCalibur, funny enough. It's a very, very small thing, but here it is. So it's referenced in a very small way in SoulCalibur 6 with the Fuma clan. It says down here, demons ran rampant during the Heian period of Japan, and many Fuma ninja traveled the land posing as exorcists and sorcerers. Most notably, many legends speak of the clan's battle with a powerful monster called the Destroyer of All, whose very name filled the people of the capital with fear. So obviously this right here is supposed to be related to this whole thing that in SoulCalibur with the Fuma clan. And then there's another thing here as well where we see the Mishimas battling with Malfested, right? Because that's this whole thing, these demons Malfested, which means that they've been influenced by Soul Edge. And we know with Yoshimitsu that one of the blades that the Manji clan had was Mekimaru, which was infused with Soul Edge. So even though during this time, much of this time, Soul Edge was actually in Europe. Actually, Soul Edge originally came from Egypt. That's the first place it was cited, which is also where Azazel is. It's one of the many reasons why I say the two are related. But one of the things with this is that Soul Edge was present in some way in Japan at the time, and the demons that you see the Mishima clan fighting here are all Malfested. You can tell because of their eyes. It's one of the defining features of Malfested is the red light that emits from their eyes. Even animals and plants are subjected to malfestation, which is when someone falls under the control of Soul Edge, and that's what you see here. So the point is to say that there actually have been quite a few references as well to SoulCalibur, even if they're more hints and nods. We're still seeing them a little bit. We see them especially with Yoshimitsu, how he's basically becoming Nightmare, losing control of Soul Edge. We see it here with Raijin, because one of the major plot points in SoulCalibur is that there are holy warriors that are given the god's power. Sophitia is the main example of this, who's given the power by Hephaestus that they can just use. And here we see Raijin presumably giving his power to the Mishima family in a similar way. So all of this is to say, when I'm talking about this being Astral Chaos and Astral Fissure, well, you probably don't know what Astral Chaos is. So Astral Chaos, I'll just read it out for you here. It's the full collection of Soul Edge's many memories of battle. This realm could be a creation or a living thing, it matters not. All that enters is drawn into a gravitational well of chaos. The fragments of blurred memories spiral ever towards the center, and once there, they become firmly fused with the other memories already ensnared inside. Once this withering, turbulent accumulation of recollections reaches critical mass, it bursts forth in a violent torrent of power. The stronger the will of a warrior, the more the chaos will try to pull them in. Even the rare few who are able to maintain their sense of self in this strange place may find that should they stay too long, they are trapped within. To lose oneself in this place is to submit to chaos. So the point here is that you have Devil Jin and Jin, if I'm right about this, fighting within Astral Chaos, which is the realm that Soul Edge resides. And not only Soul Edge, but the things that make up Soul Edge, control Soul Edge, the souls that reside within Soul Edge. It's also a passage between time and worlds. It's the way that Akuma got into Tekken. It's through an Astral Fissure. It's through Astral Chaos. It is the thing canonically within Tekken that allows characters to travel between worlds and time. And so whenever you see a fight like this between, let's say, Devil Jin and Jin, or Soul Edge and / Nightmare and Siegfried, it's within Astral Chaos. Keelik and Nightmare, when Keelik and Xianghua fought Nightmare / Inferno / Soul Edge, it was done within Astral Chaos. And in Yoshimitsu's story as well, when he sealed Soul Edge, it was within Astral Chaos. So presumably this would be Astral Chaos, and Devil Jin and Jin fighting here would further cement that idea. Again, it lines up with the description of Astral Chaos as well, especially with the fragments of blurred memories spiral ever towards the center. And once there, they become firmly fused with the memories already ensnared inside. And of course, you have the Tekken 5 stage, and then I'm sure, yeah, they'll break down into the Tekken 6 throne room, and then they go back to the memories here with Jin and Jun and the Tekken Tag 1 intro and all of that. So that was a very long-winded thing to talk about, but I just thought it was interesting. I'm going to, after I play through Tekken 8 story, I'm sure I'm going to have a whole video talking about all of this, because I think it's really interesting, but that's the gist of it. Right, so this is a move that he's had before, I believe. I have absolutely no idea what the rotation is. It looks like it's reanimated, but it looks... this feels like something he has, and usually if it feels like something he has, it is. So I think what they're trying to demonstrate here is the Oki capability of, I think this is back 1+2, the charge version of back 1+2. So if they tech into it, it's kind of like Asuka's unblockable, right? Except Devil Jin here gets 1-1-2. Seems like it could be pretty strong. It helps with his Oki capabilities, because now you have to worry about that along with the Hell Sweep. It's interesting. It does make me wonder what the counterplay is for it as well, because you can see here that it has quite a bit of backsway. So I would assume a wake-up kick would whiff. Also, just depends on the situation maybe, but I really do wonder how this would work off of, like, if you knock down with Hell Sweep, right? And you don't do like a full combo, but you do maybe half of the combo, and then they land in a certain way, and then you're able to do that. I wonder if they can tech roll out. It really just comes down to how linear it is. because you can see Devil Jin just wake up here instead of Tech Drill. So I don't know. It's a neat little Oki trap though, and these kind of things don't exist a lot in Tekken, so it's neat. And then 1-1-2, yeah. So that's that. The While Rising 4 Tsunami Kick is reanimated. It looks weird. I don't think I like it. I get that they're trying to make it look like Jin's, but it just looks janky, because this 360 that he does here to do that is so fast. It's 2 or 3 frames. You can't even tell what's going on. I think it looks dumb. I think the normal Tsunami Kick just looks better. So this is a new move, and I think the stance is called Morning Crow, right? Big mid, knockdown, laser. There's not really much to gain off of that, except he has a mid knockdown, but without knowing the entire stance, it's just like, oh wow, it's bootleg boot. So, okay. Yeah, and that's just all one thing. I remember seeing this from the footage that we saw. This is all just part of one move. Anyway, neat. Sidestep 2 into Heaven's Gate, dropping the floor here. And then that's more or less just normal stuff. Again, the reanimations of the stuff is neat, but it's all normal Devil Jin stuff. Yeah, and then again, this is a lot like I was saying before, this is actually very, very similar story-wise to Yoshimitsu and Sophitia, because Yoshimitsu's story, and again, this is something I'm planning on making a video about, because I think it's interesting and not a lot of people know about SoulCalibur lore and how it relates to Tekken and stuff. But basically, the short of it is the way that Yoshimitsu was able to seal his sword, which became Soul Edge. So the sword that he wields now in Tekken is Soul Edge. It is Soul Edge. It's just in SoulCalibur 6, it was a weakened form of Soul Edge, but still turned into Soul Edge between him killing people, his desire for revenge against Oda Nobunaga for slaughtering his village, and also him being in the presence of Nightmare and Ostrensburg Castle and Soul Edge, on top of presumably having a fragment of Soul Edge fused with it, which you can assume is the case because Mekimaru did canonically have Soul Edge infused with it, which is a sword that the Manji clan had until Oda Nobunaga destroyed the clan. He ended up meeting Sophitia, and he was drawn into Astral Chaos by Yoshimitsu's equivalent of Inferno. The demon of the sword, is he's referred to, as well as it's referred to. It's basically a separate part of his soul that was formed with and fused with Soul Edge and became the evil part of him that exemplified wanting revenge and to take revenge on Oda Nobunaga, who had been dead for 5 years at the point, so was already kind of controlling Yoshimitsu. And what Sophitia did, because she was blessed by Hephaestus, and she was blessed by Hephaestus specifically to destroy Soul Edge and people who were malfested, because there was a war with the gods, between the gods, to take or destroy Soul Edge. Astaroth, if you know Astaroth in SoulCalibur, was created by Ares to take Soul Edge, and then his plan was for Astaroth to give Soul Edge to Ares so that he could take over Mount Olympus. Meanwhile, there was a coalition of gods, and with Hephaestus and Athena and a couple of others, who wanted to destroy Soul Edge. And so Hephaestus gave Sophitia his power to be able to cure malfestation. And so as Yoshimitsu was starting to have his soul destroyed by Soul Edge, the demon inside of his sword, Sophitia had blessed him, and then Yoshimitsu was able to fight off the demon within Astral Chaos and unseal it. So similar kind of thing happening here. And the reason why I bring all of this up is because this is a similar kind of thing that Sophitia does to Malfested. And so in that regard, it makes me think that June is a similar one of the holy warriors like Sophitia, who's tasked with getting rid of or cleansing the devil gene or malfested, or a combination of both of those. So here's a little blurb on the story of the holy warriors from SoulCalibur if you're curious. So, warriors blessed by the gods and tasked to carry out their divine will. Sensing the danger that the human-wrought Soul Edge presented, the Greek god Hephaestus entrusted 24 devout men and women to destroy the cursed blade and bestowed upon them divinely crafted arms to do so. The holy warriors each believed that they were the only ones to be blessed with a task from the gods, and work with unfaltering faith to see it through. Unfortunately, the pages of history dedicated to these devout warriors remain blank. And the other thing with June as well, which is really important to know, is that despite what Harada might tell you over and over and over again, June did die canonically in Tekken 3. And it's on Bandai Namco's own website. So here we are on Bandai Namco's website, and you can just to show you that this is Bandai Namco's website. Here you go. I just took out the end of the URL and it took me to Bandai Namco's website. So if I go here and then I go here, so this is the story of Tekken 3 again from Bandai Namco's own website, and it's all in Japanese. But the important part is here. And I don't even have to bother doing a proper translation of this. I'll just do Google Translate real quick. And it says right here, Jin, whose mother was killed by the god of fighting, comes to Heihachi. Jin, whose mother was killed by the god of fighting. And in Japanese, this does say the god of fighting, mother killed, and then Heihachi, and then Jin. So it's not just like a weird Google Translate thing. This does say that she was killed by the way of the fighting god. That's essentially what this says in Japanese. So it's not some weird like Google Translate quirk like, oh, she was defeated, but it says she, no, this does say that she was killed, just in plain Japanese. It's just the thing is that this was never translated to English, as far as I can tell. It's only really been in Japanese and in wherever this originates from. But again, Bandai Namco's own website. So when Harada says that, oh no, June never died, I've been trying to explain for 25 years or whatever the tweet says, that she's always been missing. No, it has said here for the past 25 years explicitly that June was killed by Ogre. So that's what makes this also interesting, lore-wise. And I don't know if they're going to explain this in Tekken 8's story. Again, I haven't been spoiled at all. I've been keeping off of everything. But I just think this is an interesting talking point, because it would mean that if June was killed and she was revived and she did end up just going missing, it's possible that what ended up happening was that June, because of her child being Jin, was revived by the gods, resurrected by the gods, and then given the task to cleanse the devil gene, because she's in a unique situation both with Kazuya and with Jin, and the fact that she defeated this is another part of the story that is canon. When Jin was born, the devil came to her and tried to take Jin from her, and she defeated the devil. It's an interesting little tidbit. Will it get brought up in the story? Maybe, maybe not. Will I be proven completely wrong and sound like an absolute moron in the Tekken 8 story? Maybe, maybe not, but I don't know. I just think this stuff is interesting, and I think the way it relates back to SoulCalibur is interesting, and it's here, so I figured we talk about it. A little bit of theorizing never hurt anyone, right? Yeah, so he's got electrics, heat smash. So he has a new WoW Rising, what is this, WoW Rising 3? Yeah, WoW Rising 3, and then he does like the Reina Stomp, which is interesting. Almost makes me think that Reina has something to do with the devil's power. If Devil Jin for some reason has that, maybe Reina feels like an Oct role. So if you don't know, Oct is a character that hasn't really been explained too much in SoulCalibur, because she came in at the end of SoulCalibur 6's lifespan. Because if you don't know, I'm sure you don't, SoulCalibur got story updates continuously. Not only did the DLC characters have their own story, which was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, just came with the character, but also they updated the main story of the game for free. So characters like Nightmare and stuff got extensions to this story. And with Setsuka's story, and then primarily in Huang's story, but also at the end of SoulCalibur, when they put in the final bit of the SoulCalibur 6 story at the end of the game, when the last DLC character Huang was released, they introduced a character named Oct. She was a character in what was it, like SoulCalibur Legacy or something? I don't know. But she wasn't like a canon character, although maybe that game was technically canon. I can't remember. Either way, she, in the grand scheme of things, she was a minor character. They bring her in, and now she's a major character, and she's essentially the embodiment of Soul Edge. She can transform herself into Inferno, Nightmare, Cervantes, basically any wielder of Soul Edge. She lives within Soul Edge. She, like, does stuff for Soul Edge. She basically is, like, if Inferno is the embodiment of Soul Edge. Oct is like the brain of Soul Edge. And that's just making me think here, if Devil Jin has this move, maybe Reina is a similar thing where Reina is sort of like the mastermind behind the Devil Jin or something. Well, not the, yeah, maybe mastermind behind like the Devil Jin and Jin, and she's manipulating things behind the scenes and stuff like that. It would also explain her power, right? And her just not being around for this whole time, but her just being a Mishima and having all of this strength and being able to just laugh in Kazuya's face, but also be able to actually have the power to fight them. Just an interesting little tidbit. Anyway, moving on. So that's a command grab, huh? Yeah, that was a command grab. But the thing is, that's it's actually kind of tough to tell because it does come out pretty quick, but I want to say it's seeable. It looks like it's around 28 frames or something, but the hit effects do kind of blend in with Devil Jin. I'm curious to see what this looks like on player 2 side as well. Anyway, that was a whole animation. Okay, let's go back here. So I think that's just a reanimated homing move that he's had before, but also it's like Kazuya's forward 2, where in heat it has that extension, and it seems like a pretty damn good extension too, considering it gives you a combo, and then that's his heat smash. Very edgy. Okay, so that gives him, what is this, plus 12? This is his 12 frame punish, right? Then you can combo into that. Neat. Yeah, not Rage Shot. Yeah, and you know, I think the other thing is too, and I'm just going to guess here, because this was brought up by someone else who watches my streams, who's a who's a SoulCalibur player like me, but I was wondering why Devil Jin is his own character in this game if Jin's taking control of the Devil Jin, and like we've seen a couple of things where it's like Jin can't transform into Devil, like whatever. But he mentioned the idea that Devil Jin now is taking on an Inferno role, and that Devil Jin is separate from Jin. It's an interesting theory, and that would also explain the voice change as well and why he's talking well. Because like, I mean, Devil Jin did talk before, primarily in Tekken 5, but he didn't really talk to this extent. But now he's just talking all over the place. It does make it seem like he's become his own separate entity, and he does sound very distinct from Jin. So it's all very interesting. The SoulCalibur parallels that I'm seeing from this are all very interesting. What's also interesting is just the fact that they don't really do this in Tekken, because at least they're not as obvious about, because there are a lot of parallels between Tekken and SoulCalibur. The Malfested, for one, like in the Tekken scenario campaign with Yoshimitsu, when he fights Devil Jin, or maybe it was the other way around, Devil Jin fights Yoshimitsu. Devil Jin's going out about, oh, I want to take your sword and whatever because it has Soul Edge in there, and then Yoshimitsu's ending in Tekken 6, which shows Azazel's essence just merging immediately with Yoshimitsu's sword because it has Soul Edge in it, which shows that there are parallels between Soul Edge and the Devil Jin and Azazel. These are all always very subtle things. They're all always things that are like in the background, or they aren't really at the forefront. But here what we're seeing with like Devil Jin being Devil Jin, the stage that looks like Astral Chaos, Jin and Devil Jin fighting each other on the Astral Chaos stage, them going through the different stages in the different games being the collection of memories, June attempting to suppress the Devil Jin and Jin, like how the Holy Warriors attempted to suppress Malfestation and people who were afflicted by Malfestation from Soul Edge and stuff like that. It's all a lot more like up in your face. And then you see with Yoshimitsu as well how he's starting to fall into the control of Soul Edge, and in his story he's basically fallen in control of Soul Edge, and that would explain why in that one story trailer he's trying to fight against Kazuya, is because if he comes in contact with Kazuya's blood, it might allow his version of Soul Edge to completely go out of control and take over Yoshimitsu completely, which is a similar thing to how Soul Edge works in SoulCalibur, how it attempts to like brainwash people into thinking, oh, this is the right thing to do, you should do this, and it ends up just giving it more power. So it's all very interesting. It's all very, very interesting. So I'm curious to really see what they're going to do with the story. I doubt that in the actual story they're going to go that far into being like, yes, this is in parallel with SoulCalibur. I don't think they're gonna go all in on it, but they're definitely going more into it than they have in the past, right? It really does make me curious about this kind of stuff, and it makes me a lot more curious to see the story. So I'm looking forward to it. And hey, we'll be playing it later today, and I can say this because I'm recording. We'll be playing it later today on my stream at twitch.tv/Sessagen. Look at that. You see all the segues I have in the comments of my videos? Now I can just do it in the video, and I can do it in the comments too. I might just make it a quote and do it that way because it will be easier for me. Anyway, this was a half-hour long video. There was a lot to talk about and absolutely nothing to talk about with Deviljin, which was just fantastic. But yeah, we're at the end of the reveal trailers now. The game comes out later today. I'm super excited. It's currently 12:30 a.m. right now, so about 17 hours from now. I'm excited. I gotta go edit this and upload it. Thank you all for watching all of these reactions, by the way. This has been a journey for me. This has helped me try to grow and understand like what I want to do here on YouTube, because I've been on Twitch for a bit, and I think I've had a thought a while ago where I felt like expanding to YouTube was the right thing to do, but I wasn't quite sure how to really get in there and what to do. And these reaction videos have really helped me figure that stuff out, figure out like how to edit and upload these videos in a more consistent way. It's made me commit, especially over the last month or two, however long it's been that they've been doing these weekly uploads. It's really made me commit to trying to do something once a week, and it's helped a lot. And you guys have given me a lot of positive support on these videos, and I really do appreciate that. Yeah, this has been a big thing for me, and even though they're just reaction videos, I do put a lot of time and effort into them, into editing them. I mean, the ones that are like half hour, 45 minutes, I think take 4 to 6 hours ish to edit and upload. Like I do a lot to make sure that your time is valued when you watch these, because I hate when there's just like a video and there's a bunch of silence and not really a lot going on, because it takes up a lot of time. I just appreciate all of the positive support and everything from all of these videos, and thank you. But now, with this being out of the way, it is time for us to move on to greener pastures. I'm probably going to have another video that's going to come up very shortly after this one, talking about all of that. But for you there that don't give a shit, that are just watching the reactions, thank you for watching this series, and here's to doing more in Tekken 8. Anyway, I'm done reacting. It's time for good. I'll see you in whatever the hell I decide to do next. That's not reaction videos. Bye-bye.